You'd never think a train station could be terrifying until you see this one. Everything felt normal at first, just another crowded platform. But then, this weird noise started echoing from the tunnel. Not just loud, unsettling, like it was alive. People began to shift, uneasy. One guy, Sebastian, felt something was wrong. He thought about leaving, but hesitated. That was a mistake. The sound got worse. It was like it was messing with their minds. People near the tunnel started acting strange. Their eyes changed color, and then they just jumped. One by one, they threw themselves onto the tracks as a train came barreling in, like they wanted to die. Sebastian nearly fell too, but somehow caught himself. Right then, his phone rang. His wife panicked. She told him to come home and pick up their daughter, Anna. But the nightmare was just beginning. Back at work, Sebastian watched his coworkers, people he knew, start taking their own lives, one after another. Horrified, he ran. Outside, chaos had taken over the city. People screaming, cars crashing. Someone even fell from a building and landed right on his car. Sebastian had one thought: find Anna. When he finally made it to her school, it was destroyed. The staff were gone, classrooms on fire, kids frozen in fear. He found Anna, grabbed her, and they escaped through the smoke and rubble. On the way, a priest stopped them outside a church. "This is a divine gift," he said. "A miracle." But Sebastian didn't care about miracles, only keeping his daughter alive. Then, hope, he spotted his wife. But just seconds after reuniting, a speeding car came out of nowhere and hit her. She died in front of them. 9 months later, Sebastian and Anna were surviving the best they could, living in an abandoned skate park. Peace didn't last. One day, a noise startled them, and before they could react, a gang of blind robbers jumped them. They took everything. Sebastian tried to fight back, but Anna stopped him. Later, he realized those people were just starving, like them. Then came the radio broadcast. It warned everyone, don't look at the aliens. Their presence messes with your mind, makes people hurt themselves. So Sebastian blindfolded himself and Anna. Outside, he ran into other survivors, also blindfolded. He asked for food, desperate. At first, they didn't trust him, until he told them he was an engineer. He knew the location of a company generator that still worked, with electricity and heat. Suddenly, they felt it, that strange alien presence nearby. No one said a word. They just grabbed Sebastian and took him with them. They reached a hidden facility where other survivors were living. One of them, Marcel, noticed Sebastian's injuries and told him to find their doctor, a woman named Liliana. Liliana, a kind and calm doctor hiding with the survivors, helped Sebastian treat his injuries. When she gently asked what had happened, Sebastian explained he'd gotten into a fight with some desperate men. Later, as the group gathered around a fire, a blind man shared a chilling story. He said he'd almost been caught by the aliens, but saved himself by blinding his own eyes. He claimed the creatures marked their victims with a strange eye symbol on their foreheads. That night, while everyone was asleep inside an old bus, Sebastian suddenly started the engine. Liliana asked what he was doing, but he just said coldly, "It's going to be okay," and began driving. The survivors panicked and tried to stop him, but Sebastian kept going, crashing through their base. The bus flipped over, leaving everyone hurt. Then, the aliens arrived. Mariel, badly injured, stumbled out and accidentally looked at them. The moment he did, he took his own life with a piece of metal. Liliana stepped out too, trembling but keeping her eyes shut. But Sebastian, now lost in his own mind, forced her eyes open. She caught a glimpse of the aliens, and died instantly. Another man, terrified, dropped his burning cigarette into leaking fuel, triggering a huge explosion. Sebastian watched as golden lights rose from the victims' bodies. In his mind, they were souls being freed. Then came the shocking truth. His daughter Anna had never been real. She was a hallucination, a comforting illusion. She told Sebastian he had done the right thing and called him a savior. Walking through a dark hallway, Sebastian found people crucified to a wall. One dying man whispered that the aliens were not angels, but monsters from another galaxy who would destroy everyone. But Sebastian, fully consumed by his delusion, softly insisted they were angels. He closed the man's eyes as if releasing his soul. Later, Sebastian found a woman named Claire, blindfolded like other survivors. She heard his footsteps and asked who he was. He lied again, claiming he hadn't eaten in days but knew where a working generator was. Her companions, Rafa and Octavio, were suspicious, but they had no choice. The alien presence was near, and they needed to move fast. They brought Sebastian to their hideout, a secure nuclear bunker. There, Sebastian met other survivors, including a little German girl named Sofia and an older couple, Isabel and Roberto. Claire gave Sofia a piece of chocolate, and the child's face lit up with joy. Meanwhile, Rafa and Octavio cornered Sebastian, demanding details about the generator. In his mind, Anna warned him not to tell the truth, to lie and get them outside. So he did. Furious, the two men prepared to throw him out. Just then, Sofia spoke up in German. No one understood, except Sebastian. He claimed she said not to throw him out. The group was surprised, since none of them had ever been able to communicate with the girl. Curious, they let him stay and asked him to learn more about her. Sofia then shared her story, with Sebastian translating. She said she and her mother had been on a ramp when chaos broke out, people screaming, panicking, and jumping into the river to escape. They somehow survived and hid in a van. There, they heard a radio broadcast about a safe place in the mountains. She didn't know exactly where, but picked up a piece of chalk and drew a castle on a mountaintop. Claire believed it might be a real place, and perhaps their last hope for safety. As Sofia continued her story, she revealed the painful truth. During their escape, she fell and got separated from her mother. She never saw her again. Overcome with emotion, Sofia broke down in tears. Claire gently embraced her, explaining to the others that she had found Sofia alone and decided to take her in. But Sebastian argued that heading toward the mountain castle might be their only real chance. He believed other survivors, maybe even Sofia's mother, could be there. They were running out of food, light, and time in the bunker. Roberto strongly disagreed, calling it a suicide mission. But when it came to a vote, the majority supported Sebastian. Reluctantly, Roberto agreed. That night, Sebastian saw Anna again, the haunting vision of his daughter. Her voice urged him to act. Under her influence, he secretly loosened the ropes tied to the dogs, planning to use the chaos they'd create as a distraction when the aliens came. By morning, the plan unfolded. The aliens arrived, and the dogs broke free, causing panic. The moment the creatures appeared, everyone began reliving their worst memories. Claire was trapped in the painful memory of her brother's death. Sofia heard her mother's voice, begging her to remove her blindfold. Just as her hand reached up, Octavio stopped her. Elsewhere, Rafa searched for his dogs in a frenzy. Desperate, he took off his blindfold and looked directly at the aliens. Within seconds, he was overwhelmed and smashed his head into a car windshield, ending his life. Claire, still paralyzed by her trauma, sat holding her head. Octavio tried to shake her out of it and looked for a place to move the group. Meanwhile, Roberto searched for Rafa but was attacked and bitten by one of the now-controlled dogs. As blood poured from the wound, Octavio yelled for everyone to regroup and head for safety. When Claire told him Rafa was gone, Octavio broke down in grief. Inside the bunker, Isabel tended to Roberto's wound. In pain, he muttered something cruel, that she had cheated on him. Isabel, hurt, assured him it wasn't true. It was the aliens, planting false memories to weaken them emotionally. Later, Octavio shared a theory. Maybe these creatures were from a quantum realm. He believed they changed form based on people's worst fears and used those fears to break their minds. Claire then opened up about her own guilt. Her brother had suffered from depression, and despite being a psychiatrist, she couldn't save him. That failure haunted her every day. Turning to Sebastian, Claire asked what he had heard when the aliens came, but Sebastian quickly changed the subject, asking where Sofia was. Claire started to go after her, but Sebastian gently told her to rest and offered to check on the girl himself. He found Sofia sitting alone, crying softly. He knelt beside her and handed her a locket, the very same one he had once given to Anna on her birthday. As Sofia held it, the story cut to a memory. 7 months ago, Sebastian kissing Anna's forehead and promising they'd celebrate her birthday properly soon. Back in the present, Anna's voice echoed in his mind, questioning why he gave her locket to another girl. Just then, Claire walked in. She noticed something was off and asked Sebastian, "Who is Anna? Really? His wife? His daughter?" The locket had Anna's name engraved on it, and Claire had seen it. She looked him in the eyes and asked the question he'd been avoiding. Was it Anna's voice he heard when the aliens came? Claire, a compassionate psychiatrist, gently offers to help Sebastian. She tells him she doesn't want anything from him, just to help him understand the truth. She explains that the voice of his daughter Anna isn't real, but a manipulation by the aliens to connect with him. She opens up about her own experience. She once heard her dead brother's voice too, but eventually realized it was just part of the illusion. As Claire speaks, Anna's illusion continues whispering to Sebastian, trying to turn him against Claire. He's visibly torn, almost ready to accept Claire's words, until a sudden scream from Roberto interrupts everything. His infection has worsened and is spreading fast. Claire quickly says they need antibiotics. She, Sebastian, and Octavio blindfold themselves and go searching. While Claire looks through a bathroom filled with medicine cabinets, Sebastian and Octavio check another room. Octavio finds food but no medicine. He calls out to Sebastian to check if everything is okay, but Sebastian, distracted by Anna's voice in his head, carelessly replies it's safe, unaware that one of the windows is wide open. Octavio removes his blindfold for just a moment, and that's all it takes. The aliens take control. In a terrifying frenzy, Octavio stabs himself repeatedly and dies. Sebastian watches in horror. What's worse, Octavio's soul doesn't rise like the others. It leaves Sebastian shaken and full of guilt. Claire rushes in, sees the aftermath, and quickly pulls Sebastián away before Anna's voice can convince him to remove Claire's blindfold. Back at the safe spot, Isabel asks where Octavio is. Claire, holding back tears, tells her he didn't make it. She hands over the antibiotics for Roberto. Isabel then notices Sebastián sitting apart from the group. Claire quietly explains that he blames himself for Octavio's death, believing the open window was his fault. Later, Anna returns to Sebastián's mind. She asks why he didn't take off Claire's blindfold. Broken and filled with doubt, Sebastián says that maybe he isn't a savior after all. Maybe he's the wolf. The next day, as they travel again, the group is ambushed by people under alien control, called seers. Their leader turns out to be the very priest Sebastián met at the church 9 months ago. In the chaos, Roberto and Isabel get separated and surrounded. Realizing there's no way out, they remove their blindfolds and share one final moment before the aliens take them. Claire, trying to make sense of everything, stumbles upon Sebastián's goggles, devices that let him see without a blindfold. The truth hits her like a punch. He's been lying all along. Sebastián isn't just another survivor. He's working with the aliens. Claire's heart sinks as she realizes he might be responsible for Octavio's death, and even Rafa's. With her trust shattered, she clutches little Sofia's hand tightly, knowing the real danger might have been beside her all this time. Claire moves away from Sebastián, focused on protecting Sofia, while Anna's voice haunts Sebastián's mind, telling him only 2 more people must die before they can be reunited. Claire leads Sofia to the bunker's ceiling, warning her to keep her blindfold on at all costs. Sebastián follows them quietly. Unfortunately, Claire accidentally missteps and falls down the stairs, losing consciousness, leaving Sofia alone with Sebastián. Anna's voice urges Sebastián to remove Sofia's blindfold. His hand reaches out, almost giving in, but something inside him breaks through the manipulation. Overcome with emotion, he can't hurt Sofia and instead embraces her, reconnecting with his lost humanity. A flashback reveals Anna's birthday 7 months ago, when the priest marked Anna's forehead with the alien eye symbol, forcing her eyes open and causing her to fall under alien control, leading to her tragic death. Sebastián was then mentally taken over, with Anna's ghostly form promising they would be reunited. Back in the present, Sebastián tries to explain to Claire and Sofia that he was deceived and genuinely wants to protect them. Claire remains cautious but listens. Suddenly, the alien-controlled seers begin chasing them. When one attacker grabs Sebastián and tries to blind him, he fights back with surprising strength, killing her. He quickly drives Claire and Sofia toward a mountain castle where the army has established a safe zone. Along the way, Anna's shadow haunts him, urging him to give up, but he pushes forward. At the cable lift tower, the only path up the mountain, Sebastián blocks the road by setting his car on fire to slow the seers. Claire and Sofia board the lift, but Sebastián stays behind to buy them time. During the ascent, Sofia nearly falls through a gap, but Claire catches her just in time, saving her. Claire knows the group won't survive without her help, risking everything. She removes her blindfold to guide them safely through the alien-controlled darkness. Just as they reach the car, it explodes in a massive blast of flames and smoke, cutting off their escape. Enraged but determined, the father arrives with his followers and calls out to Sebastián. He claims Sebastián has been chosen by the aliens for a higher purpose and urges him to surrender and join their divine mission. But Sebastián refuses, gripping a metal rod tightly and declaring he's no slave to their false god. Meanwhile, Claire reaches the top of the chairlift tower and tries to start the lift but finds the power is out. Suddenly, she notices a large bell nearby and begins ringing it loudly, hoping to attract the aliens' attention. The sound works. The aliens approach, their energy activating the chairlift and bringing it to life. At the same time, Sebastián's mind begins to feel the alien influence creeping in. The aliens try to convince him that the father's mission is to free them all. As Sebastián watches the burning car, he sees an image of Anna standing in the flames. The vision shakes him, but he fights to stay in control. The aliens close in on Claire and Sofia, attempting to invade their minds. Claire starts hearing her deceased brother's voice again, while Sebastián battles the haunting image of Anna engulfed in fire. He reminds himself that Anna is gone and steels his resolve. With fierce determination, he strikes the father hard across the stomach with the rod. Meanwhile, Sofia nearly slips and falls from the tower, but Claire catches her just in time. Claire studies the chairlift doors and times their opening and closing, 4 seconds for a full cycle. She plans to jump just before the doors close to escape. As the father attacks Sebastián, causing severe wounds and blood loss, Sebastián refuses to give up. He tells the father that even if he dies, Claire and Sofia will survive. He's ready to sacrifice himself for his lost daughter. As Claire fights off the alien influence, she counts the seconds and leaps onto the chairlift, pulling Sofia with her. They reach safety, and Claire silently thanks Sebastián with all her heart. Sebastián, gravely wounded, takes his final breaths. Anna appears beside him, embracing and comforting him as he slips away. Claire and Sofia arrive safely at the mountain castle, where soldiers escort them for questioning. The vast facility shelters many city survivors. Sofia's mother spots her and they share a tearful, emotional reunion. She thanks Claire for saving her daughter. Later, Claire undergoes a medical examination to check if she has been exposed to the aliens. She explains that she hasn't aligned with them, but Sebastián, someone on their side, helped her get here. She warns many others still need rescue. A medical officer injects Claire with a chemical marker to detect epigenetic changes in her DNA caused by stress and suffering. Changes that can turn people into seers. Seers can see the aliens without dying but remain under their control. Claire begins to realize this likely happened to Sebastián after witnessing Anna's death, altering his DNA and making him capable of seeing the aliens but also vulnerable to their influence. Meanwhile, in a laboratory, 2 army scientists use the blood of a captured seer to create a vaccine. They have been testing it on rats, managing to keep them alive for just 48 seconds after exposure to an alien shadow. They develop a new compound hoping to extend survival to 1 minute, but the experiment fails, and the rats die quickly. The seer, trapped and desperate, continues to cry out, begging to see the aliens. And with that haunting cry, the story ends. Aliens are taking over, and Sebastián's fighting for survival. Will he save his daughter or lose himself? Watch now, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more.